Hey everyone, this is a tutorial on how to play Move Together by James Bay. If you want to play in the key that he's in, you'll need to drop your guitar down two half steps or one whole step. So every string needs to drop down 2 frets. So your E is actually going to be a D, and your A is a G, and so on. And that works out actually really well because if you try to play it in standard tuning, it's pretty high vocally, at least for myself. I don't have an incredible range, so it helps to be able to sing it more comfortably as well. But we'll go ahead and start off with the main riff. So this is a really fun one to strum. He actually plays around with it a fair amount. Sometimes he'll do some palm muting, other times he'll play it nice and open. But it's definitely has a bouncy feel to it and a little bit of some kind of circular strumming, which it helps you to hit the palm muting, when you want to, and that kind of thing. But the main riff is 3 chords basically. It's variations between C, A minor, and G. And for both the C and the A minor, he'll throw down his pinky finger on the 3rd fret of that high string. And then it stays there for the G, of course, as well. And when you play your G, I tend to do this a lot where I don't even worry about the A string. Normally it would be 2nd fret, but I'll just play with my ring finger and my pinky, and I'll just mute the A string and not even worry about it. And it just makes jumping around to some of these chords that are somewhat similar to each other a little bit more seamless. So C, A minor, G. You can kind of have a bass that you kind of revolve around. The main riff of the song is basically those 3 chords with a bass note that drives the transition to each of them. So in its simplest form, we have which is C, and then a hammer on, then you lift it off, and then G, and then A minor, and then G. And he'll mix in between each of those beats some very light strumming on the high strings. So when we put those all together, we get and then, like I mentioned, a lot of times he'll do some muting, and he'll tend to mute the lower strings and let the higher strings ring out. For the bridge that you play before going to the chorus, it's it's only 3 different variations of an F. And I'll have the tab up for it as well. But the main difference between them is just this note that progresses through each one. So the first chord is going to be that first note, which is the 1st fret on the B string, and then you're going to have the high E string open. And then you're going to lift off your pinky and throw that onto the 3rd fret of the B string and replace that 1st fret with the 3rd fret. So you're going to get... And then you're going to bring your pinky back and go back to the very same chord that you just came from. And even though it is, like I say, the same thing as the first chord, musically you hear the progression of that note go up to the E string. So you get... And then the last one, you're going to throw down the first fret of the high E string to get a straight F major. So the chorus, we're going to break out into two sections. The first section is going to be those same three chords from the intro plus an F, and you're just going to strum them out. Again, the C and the A minor are going to have the third fret of the high E string fretted as well. So if you want to do a hammer-on with the F, you can certainly do that. On the G string, you're going to throw the second fret down. And it just repeats. Are we gonna move together? Just come closer. The second part of the chorus, he uses pretty much all new chords, I believe, with the exception of maybe one or two. But we're going to slide up to a higher part of the neck here. We're going to go up to the 7th fret. We're going to hit 7, 9, 0, 8, 0. Are we gonna? And then we're going to go up one fret to what would technically be a C. Actually, sorry, an F. So 7, 9, 0, 8, 0, 8, 10, 10, 10. Go back to the E. And then we're going to drop down to a D minor 7. 5, 7, 5, 6, 5. And then this transition's a little bit difficult. So what I like to do is I'll throw down my pinky on the 7th fret of the G string. And that gives me a good base to rotate into the next chord, which is going to be no E string, but then you're going to have 7, 6, 7, 5. And then if you want to play this open, you can. And then we're going to go down to an F. And then back up to no E string, but then 7, 5, 5, 5. And then back to the D minor 7 with the 8th fret on the E string fretted as well. Between sheets. So those chords in order. And each of them are strummed a little bit differently, so feel free to play around with that as well. But we're going to start off with the E. At the ending, he does repeat and switch up the order of what he's playing a little bit. So he'll do some repetition of that main riff. Just keeping the peace. And instead of going to the A, he'll go to the F and repeat that. Just keeping the peace. And on the third time, I believe it is, he'll slide up to that 7, 5, 5, 5. Keeping the peace, or just keeping the peace. Then do our D minor 7 with the 8th fret. Between these sheets, down to a C to end it. So that part again goes. Just keeping the peace. Just keeping the peace. Just keeping the peace between these sheets. So there you go. That's how to play Move Together by James Bay.